Finally found out why my friends don't want me going on my date tonight. Pretty annoyed. Original post. For context, I'm 35 male and my date is 43 female. We actually met because she's in a hobby group with my mom and she encouraged us to go out together. Two of my friends and their girlfriends didn't approve when they found out. At first it was because she was a few years older than me and because she's a friend of my mom's, but after pointing out that at our age, 8 years is not a big gap and my mom was supportive, they just called it weird and creepy to date her. Eventually, after everyone else I asked seemed confused about the problem like I was, they came clean and admitted they had been talking to my ex who left me a year ago, and she had been missing me. My ex is friends with the two disapproving girlfriends, and they all have been planning to try and get us back together, like some kind of trashy romance plot. My ex left me after we were together for a year because she just didn't feel right about our relationship. It hurt like hell at the time, but I've moved on. I've run into her a few times and been polite, but I have no interest in a relationship or even a friendship with her. She's not part of my life anymore, and I'm keeping it that way. My friends made me feel like I was crazy and weird for wanting to go on a date with a woman I get along with. We've hung out a lot in other settings, just not on a date yet. Also, they could try and force my ex back into my life. My ex texted me this morning asking if we could meet up and talk, and I told her that I wasn't interested in anything she had to say, and that I'd like to keep my distance from her. I'm also putting some distance between myself and the two friends who are playing along with their girlfriend's stupid game. On the plus side, I'm really looking forward to our date tonight. Dinner, drinks, and a walk through town to enjoy the nice weather we're getting. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Trying to manipulate you into canceling a date because they care more about the feelings of the girl that dumped you doesn't really sound like something real friends would do. Yeah, I was pretty disappointed that they were willing to play along with all this. They aren't my closest friends, so I'm strongly considering just moving on from them completely. That's freaking weird, man. I would be pretty upset if my friends were conspiring with my ex to get me back with her and ruining my chance to find something with someone else. This sounds like something a bunch of 20-year-olds would do. I can't imagine a world where any of my friends wouldn't just say, "Hey man, your ex has been talking about you a bunch. You think there's a chance? She's interested." This all sounds way immature and weirdly conspiratorial. I know Reddit is always burn the bridge, divorce, leave, kill the dog, or whatever, but I would really reconsider these friendships. It's one thing to try and put you two in the same room, still weird, but alright? And another to make you feel bad and actively get you to not date a woman you're interested in. Anyway, have fun on the date, man. Hope it works out. You're right. It was absurd that they did all this, instead of just letting me know she was interested. I would have said no still, but at least then it would be done and there wouldn't be any drama. Now they are my ex-friends, and I think it's for the best. Your ex has decided she is now willing to settle for you. How dare you not be available for her? Screw that. Go enjoy your date and see how things go. Now for the first update. Just got home. Did not expect this much support. Figured I'd let anyone finding this late or checking back in know. Date went very well. Haven't had a first date go that well, I think, ever to be honest. Second date has already been planned. I'll be cooking dinner and we'll be watching a few terrible movies we both share a love for. As for my crappy ex-friends, I've already told them we're done being friends. Luckily, they are part of a separate social circle from my main group of friends, so it's a very easy breakup process there. Ex tried calling me, went ahead and blocked her everywhere I could think of, not letting those idiots ruin an otherwise amazing night. Thanks again for everyone's supportive words. I know I made the right call, but it's nice to be validated, you know? Second update. Wow, this got a lot more attention than it deserved. Came back to hundreds of messages. People wanted to know about date number 2. It went just as well as the first date, I'd say. I made chicken parm, and she got me my favorite cider to drink. We watched Velocipaster because that movie is truly art at its finest. She's an incredible woman, and now we're official. So I get to brag about my awesome girlfriend to anyone who will listen. She's confident, smart, funny, gorgeous, and she knows what she wants. She's very straightforward, which I appreciate. Obviously, it's way too early to tell what the future of this relationship looks like, but for now, I'm happier than I've been in a very long time. Also, my mom is being smug as heck and teasing me relentlessly, but my girlfriend is getting it even worse because mom and the girls from the hobby club are all ganging up on her. It's all in good fun. I just think they haven't had much new relationship gossip in a while. Her friends, and my two ex-friends seem to have accepted the breakup, and I don't expect them to show up knocking on my door demanding we hang out or anything like a few people suspected. With those friends out of my life, I'm no longer likely to even run into my ex, as I only ever saw her when hanging out with those particular friends. Might see her at the store, but even that's unlikely because I go at odd hours to do my shopping. That's it. No big fun drama. I'm happy. Girlfriend is happy. Family and friends are happy. Life is good. Thank you for listening to me yap about my love life on the tail end of a post I wrote just to work off some steam. Next story. Update. My wife, 28 female of 3 years, called me, 35 male, boring for my lack of ambition and being content in life. Original post. I love my job. It's close to home and has flexible hours. The pay isn't bad either, considering I have no degree. My wife and I, with our income, can afford a good living. We have 2 kids, a son and a daughter. My son is 4. We had a kid early on before marriage, was a happy accident, and my daughter is 2. We were talking Friday and I mentioned my boss was leaving. My wife asked if I was going to take his spot. I laughed and said, "Hell freaking no, who wants it?" This led to a fight. My wife accused me of lacking ambition and said I'm boring for just accepting things in life. She said it's insane she has to be the breadwinner. She has to claw her way up the corporate ladder. She's ambitious. She constantly takes overtime and tries to get promoted. But I've been working the same role, same job, for 7 years and just accept it. She thinks I've become boring. My carefree attitude makes her bored. Ambition is sexy. It's what men should be. She said if I grew a backbone, I could be making 6 figures by now. We could be living in New York or have a bigger house. I don't understand her logic. Genuinely don't. I'm happy with my life. I'm content. Why do I have to be a corporate shark, constantly seeking my way up the ladder? I just want to do my 9 to 6 and go home and see my family. I like having my weekends. I like being happy. We have money. For once, we aren't struggling in life. How can I tell my wife I'm just happy? Why is someone being happy seen as wrong? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Very simple. You two have completely different views on life. I am a similar age to your wife. I am still studying and not planning to stop anytime soon. I could not see myself in your position, working the same job for years, having kids and all that. I'd be extremely bored. Also, 35 is pretty young to be the age you stop at, in my opinion. So I can understand her. It's just a difference in values. You want to just have a simple, easy life, while she wants to build a career. I think this is an issue you should have discussed long ago. It will cause future problems, most likely. Ugh, that was an error on my part. I'm always growing as a person. You never stop growing until you're dead. But so people understand from my point of view, I'm happy with my life. I love my job. It's not a job, honestly. I love my wife and my kids and everything we managed to obtain. We made 2 freaking wonderful kids together. Nothing else would come 1/100th as close to that. It's our greatest achievement. I get that life can be boring. We aren't young. We don't go out anymore. I get she's feeling stress from work, but she told me from day one she is ambitious, and once she sets her eyes on something, she will never stop until she gets what she desires. She never settles for anything less than that. I get that. But I'm the opposite. I'm not ambitious, but I mean I don't just accept crap. I'll fight for my family and goals. But what after? Me? Once I get those goals, I'm happy. She isn't and will not just settle. For a while she was happy, but now she admits she wants more. For the longest time, I was the breadwinner. She would quit her job if they didn't give her a raise or promotion. She got a big promotion to salaried last year and a raise a few months ago. She claims she'll be getting a bigger promotion soon. All these hours will pay off. I guess we really were two different people. I also blamed her expressing her unhappiness as being the result of her period. That was my bad. I absolutely take the fault for that. I'm not blowing her claims off. I know she's under a ton of pressure and stress at work. Even when she comes home, she still gets calls from work and has to deal with work. She never has a day off. I'm well aware. It was crappy of me to blame it on that. I apologize. I think you two need to sit down and discuss your life goals. Where do you want to be in 5 to 10 years? Discuss your ideas and compromise. Is there really a compromise that works in this situation? There is a reason this is a topic covered in premarital counseling, which if everyone got, we'd have less marriages and less divorces. A misalignment of life goals isn't really something you can work past. Now for the update 5 days later. Well, it's a divorce. We're just two different people going in different directions. So, her initial reasons were envy. She admits she was envious that I could just accept my life the way it is and be happy with so little. I could be happy never moving up in my career. She was envious that I could go home happy and not stressed and not dread the work week. She never has that luxury. She's always stressed, always feeling worthless for getting such a late start in life. But the real reason? She's not happy with her life. She admits to me she cannot be happy with this life. Living in the suburbs, being a soccer mom, this life isn't for her. She tried making it work, but she can't do it. She wants to constantly claw her way up the ladder, constantly strive to improve. She wants a big house, to be rich, to be somebody, and not just live. She wants someone who is equally as ambitious. Not me, someone who is content. She wants to be with someone who is willing to take major risks, make spur-of-the-moment plans. To her, it's like a constant pressure. She doesn't want to stay in one place or do the same thing forever. I'm the exact opposite. I don't want to constantly be moving or constantly be doing more. I want to be happy and live a quiet, humble life. She cannot understand how I could want that, and I cannot fathom why she wouldn't either. So we're left at an impasse. We've both decided we can't go on. It isn't fair to either of us, nor our kids. Not a happy update, I guess. She admits she was envious. I could just accept my life the way it is and be happy with so little. Honestly, your wife seems to put a lot of importance on money and prestige to fill whatever emptiness she has. You can be a content person who spends time with your family and still be somebody. Sorry you're divorcing, but I think it'll be better for everyone in the long run. That's society as a whole. Go look at the last thread. So many people calling me a loser, a failure for not sharing the same ideals. I've had so many people DM, saying how much a loser I am for not wanting to be rich. I had everything I wanted. Nice job, nice house, a family, no worries about money. But it's never enough. Never will be enough. The idea you aren't chasing after the dollar is seen as backwards. Reminds me of the story of the businessman trying to convince the fisherman to start a fishing business, grow a fleet of fishing ships, make $1 million, and retire. Fisherman asks what he'd do when he retires. Businessman says he'd get to spend his days leisurely fishing. Fisherman says that's what he's doing now. That's actually a great analogy. Why live a life you don't enjoy if you can enjoy your life now? We're also not guaranteed a one day. We can make plans for what we'll do one day once we have enough money, time, etc. But not everyone gets to live that long. It would be a shame to spend your life being miserable, toiling away in the hopes you'll get to finally enjoy your life later on, only to die before you get there. Then what was the point? As much it sucks, this is the best solution for both sides. It's better than be stuck in a marriage where bitterness and sadness will drown away both sides. Wishing for the best for both. Last story. How can I, 32 female, not feel resentful that I make significantly more money and work significantly more hours than my husband, 36 male? I, 32 female, have been married for almost 7 years to my husband. When we first got married, I made around $60,000 a year. We got married, and I went back to school for 3 hard and stressful years, during which he provided financially for us. I now make about $225,000 a year. He makes around $85,000 a year. I have a highly stressful job in healthcare and work around 45 hours per week. He is very lucky and works from home, and I would say on average works 2 hours a week. I know that sounds crazy, but it's just how his job works apparently. He is very sweet. He makes my smoothie and coffee in the morning, as I have to leave pretty early for work, around 5:45 a.m. He does the grocery shopping during the day, and if I ask him to clean something in the house, he'll do it without complaining. The issue is, I cannot help but feel resentful of the fact that not only do I make significantly more money, but I also have to work over 40 hours a week, while I know he is at home playing video games much of the day and only actually working a small part of the day, maybe just answering a few emails. When I get off work around 7 p.m., he won't have dinner ready unless I specifically ask him to make XYZ on the way home from work. On top of that, certain things aren't taken care of that I wish would be done without me having to specifically ask. For example, we forgot about the homestead exemption this year, so we missed out on that. Since he stays home, I wish those kinds of things were just handled without me having to remind him. I would love to be able to stay at home, especially if we were to have children in the future. But the difference is that if it were turned around, I would have dinner ready for him when he got home, and he wouldn't have to ask me to do different things around the house during the day. They would just be done. Maybe this is the difference between a man and a woman? I also have decision fatigue at work, so when he asks what I want for dinner, I kind of just wish he would say, "Hey, we're having XYZ for dinner. See you when you get here." We have talked about all of this before, but it hasn't seemed to get any better for me. I still feel resentful when I call him after a long, stressful day and ask what's for dinner, and he says, "Well, we have salmon and beef we could make. What do you want?" I do want to have children, but I also feel like I'll still have to work full-time, make most of the decisions with them, and do most of the child rearing. How can I not feel resentful about making more money, working significantly more hours every week with a stressful job, and then still having to ask for things around the house to be done while he's at home? Please help, and thanks in advance. From your description, I don't know if it's about the money. Kind of sounds like you want him to carry more of the mental load, and that you're tapped out by the time you get home. Sounds like he had more energy too at the end of the day, and you don't because of the nature of your jobs. Talk to him about that, and see if he can take on more of that, so you don't have to worry about it or expend energy you really don't have to give. I need one of those 2-hour-a-week for $85,000 jobs. Jeez. I have a friend like this who basically works part-time at $85,000 because he has 2 degrees and over 10 years in his field. He worked his butt off to get to this point. He could easily work twice as hard for twice the pay, but the wage is what he wants for his stable income. He journals every day and is always networking. During COVID, he did his job while watching the 2 kids in video school. His son did get bored and cut his own hair, but otherwise the kids were fine. He has a board in his office with his goals for the future. Last year, he decided he wanted 7 forms of passive income and was researching that. These tend to be the kinds of people that have these types of jobs. Meanwhile, I'm on Reddit with zero energy,